Hey there, everyone. I am so excited to be joined today by international best-selling author and entrepreneur and mentor, Jen Ryan. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to be here and to finally connect with you.
I know it's been a little while since we set up this chat, and I want to invite everyone who's joining us from Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. My name is Dr. Sandra Colton-Medici. I'm the founder of College of Style, and we are just talking all things marketing today. I know that Jen has a background in foundational elements, building brands and businesses with all of her marketing guru status. So just talk about some of the things that you do, on a daily basis to help your clients.
So really what I try to do is help people understand, it is about building a personal brand, but it's about creating that foundation and understanding that without that foundation, as we were talking before, a lot of people start at the top of the funnel thinking they need to put themselves out there. They need to show up everywhere. They need to be everywhere. And say nothing about the fact that it is just too overwhelming. When we don't build that foundation of really understanding the problem that you solve, because if you're not solving a problem, nobody's taking their credit card out, right? So, I mean, it's not about the money, but it's about the money, right? And if it's not about the money, you just have a hobby, which is fine. But to the people who don't want a hobby and you want a business, you must understand that you are solving a problem, and you must understand who you are solving this problem for. And then the next thing is what makes you unique. And I think this is where people get tripped up. They think that they need something to be like fireworks to be unique. And it just means that it's what you're going to talk about. It could be a process that somebody else, right? Like if you're a hairstylist, my background is in the salon industry. So if you're a hairstylist and you all use the same product, well, what makes you unique? The way that you apply, the way that you look at it, the way that you formulate, just your own voice, the way that you explain something is what makes you unique. So from there, from that foundation, then we build from there, because everything really in your branding and your marketing should come back to that foundation. And if it's not in line with that foundation, then we have to ask ourselves, should I be posting this? Should I be creating this? So I think that your foundation is just what it is. It is a foundation.
Yeah. Well, so when you are talking with people about being authentic, I feel like a lot of people don't know how to just be themselves online. There's kind of like that difference on, like, let's say Instagram, right? That filter that people feel like they need. And then there's the other, which is the true authentic self. How do you pull out being an authentic person online for people who just don't know how to be themselves?
You know, I love this question, and I'm going to use myself as an example. I am not a writer. I am a horrible proofreader. My girlfriend will, I'll send her stuff and, I'll be like, hey, we check this out if something's big. And she'll be like, is your S broken? Is your S button broken on your computer? Right? It's not my jam, right? Writing's not my jam. I'm the ideal girl and I like to talk. So when I used to write, where I guess now I do, but about 6 years ago, when I decided to leave the corporate world and come out on my own and do my own gig, I would write, as I still do, in the way that I talk. And that's how I would communicate. Yeah. And I was told over and over again, don't do that, don't do that. And it's so funny because now it is the way they tell you to do it. But my point being is that I kept listening to other people. And when you listen to other people how you should do something, you lose your own voice. Mm-hmm. And so here's the thing. When you are doing something to impress somebody, or you are doing something because you think you should, your ideal client, you're not going to find your ideal client. It's almost like dating, right? And you wear all the the fake eyelashes, and you might pad your bra a little, or you might put something in your booty, or whatever it is, right? Eventually the gig is up. Eventually we all have to take our makeup off, right?
Right.
And my point being is that if you're attracting the wrong people for the wrong reason, you're not going to have longevity. Yeah. And you're not going to be happy in your work, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah.
I guess just be you. Tell your story using your voice.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's hard for a lot of people to think about that just because they are like you said, you're not necessarily the writer, although you have a best-selling book, right? I mean, like it is possible to be a like non-writer author, but I think that a lot of people would think, and I had this question the other day, like this is the question, not me. I swear a lot when I talk. Should I use that kind of verbiage when I write my messaging to my core audience? And my thing was, if that's how you communicate and that is authentic to you, obviously pick and choose your timing because you don't want to put it in a subject line like the big F word or anything like that. But you do want to make sure that people know who you are and they don't want to be surprised when they meet you in person and you're dropping those, right? I was using the example of like Gary Vee. It's him. It's part of his ethos, right? You're not surprised when you see it, and he's consistent. If you weren't consistent about it, then I think it would be a problem.
And somebody who doesn't like to hear the F word isn't going to follow you. Because for me personally, I don't like to see it in print, and I don't like it in a business setting. So, but here's the thing. I am not going to enjoy that speech if the F word is peppered all over the place, right?
Right.
And that's okay. That's not right or that's not wrong. But to your point, just be who you are.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm. I use it's just like, it's almost like slang for me. Hey lady, what's going on? Like I just say I call everybody lady. Like, hey lady, what's up? Like, that's just like if you met me on the street, right?
Yeah.
And so I put out a message to my meetup.com. I have over 1,000 people in there, and you can't personalize it. So I sent out a message, and it was, hey lady, because that's how I talk. And I got a hate mail back. Hey lady, da-da-da. And I was like, I've arrived. I have hate mail.
That's awesome.
But because she would have never been my person.
Yeah.
So let's hurry up. Let's hurry up and break up so my people can come in.
Right. I was just talking about this the other day. I said, there's a lot of people who come in randomly. You do your curation as I have a Facebook group, and I go through, they have to meet a certain criteria because you want to be talking to people who are your people. And I was like, gosh, this person must have gotten through the back door. I don't understand. They posted this comment. It doesn't make any sense, and it happens all the time. Actually, let me just chat with you about comments that we're getting. Okay. So I just want to put up here because we have a few viewers. Lamisha said, yes, all things marketing. I am here for it. I love it. And then also she did authenticity is the only way for me. Yes. So I love the fact that we have people watching and commenting. So thank you so much. Keep the comments coming. But what I wanted to just ask you, because you do have this book out, and I want to know, what is the title? What can people learn from it? And where should they find it before we move on to something else?
So Mindset Mastery, it's actually, I don't want to misrepresent. It's a collaboration. And so it's funny that you bring it up because I never talk about it. Right?
Why?
I don't know. I never talk about it. I have a chapter in there, and it's about mindset. But I'm gonna divert for just a half a second. I think that because I'm not a writer, right? And that I always thought, would that be so cool to have, to write a book or to be a part of a book. So the message that I want is not so much that I want people to go to yes, I mean, there's myself and some amazing women in there. Mindset Mastery, you can find it on Amazon, but it's more about, I'm going to go back to that authentic. Like, if that's truly what you want, nothing is impossible. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's my words and all of that, but you don't, how many people have best-selling authors or are best-selling authors, Kim Kardashian, who didn't actually write the book, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't mean to like diss her. I'm just saying you get help, right? You get help with things that you're not great at. And as long as it's your words, your story, to have somebody help you make it sound intelligent, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Right. It's so funny because you mentioned, people getting help. And I always think about people who I asked this question the other day to my group. I said, and on Twitter, who's your favorite rebel business entrepreneur or business owner? And I got so many different responses, but somebody said Paris Hilton. And I thought, I can get down with that. I can see this, only because I always thought, she may have portrayed herself in a certain way, but she was really, really keen on who her demographic was and who she was drawing into. I mean, she didn't need money, but she was making it, right, during her kind of like really heyday period. Who do you think is kind of like your favorite rebel business owner?
And I don't know why, and I'm not going to say she's my favorite, and I'm almost embarrassed, but when you said Paris Hilton, the name that popped in my head is Jessica Simpson.
Oh, I love Jessica Simpson.
Yes. I mean, she has done, and she has gone through, she's gone through a lot of personal battles, a lot.
Yeah.
And man, that woman though, she's a rock star.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people probably never saw her coming, just from the early days of, non-secular music to secular music, you know what I mean? Like she kind of like blindsided a lot of people with just the intelligence and the vision, I think, for her, her fashion line and all of that good stuff. So when you think about helping people kind of get to that mega place of like a Jessica Simpson, but are starting in those really early stages of foundation for their business, or just in figuring out like what they want to do or who they want to be, what are some of the things that you tell your clients?
Well, as it relates to growing a business, I really think that before you start to create content, before you start to put together products and services for your ideal client, right? So the problem that you solve, you understand the goal that you have, whether that be to launch a book, whether that be to open up a brick and mortar actual store, whatever it is. I'm going to bring it back to that foundation. And then from there, to understand, as we mentioned before, or as I mentioned to you before we hopped on here live, it doesn't matter if you are selling toothpicks, used cars, restaurant, food, it does not matter. And I think about this all the time. Yeah. Your ideal client doesn't just happen to be a raving fan. They go through a process. And this process can happen in 5 seconds. It could take 5 years. It can be 5 months, 5 weeks, whatever. But you must understand that your client will go through a process of they don't know who you are, to becoming aware, to engaging with you, to making a very small commitment, right? So restaurant, what's the small commitment? Walking in the door, picking up the phone to make a reservation, right? To whatever that is, to listening to a Facebook Live, a YouTube Live, like, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm going to make a small commitment to show up, to watch the video, to read a post, whatever it is, then to committing, and then they interact with you, they buy your product, they buy your service, you have the opportunity to upsell them, to give them a little more, and that's when they become your testimonial and your raving fan. It is so important that you understand that your ideal client has to go through that process. Nothing gets skipped.
Yeah. You can't just pass go, right? And I know that we were talking beforehand, and I said, oh my gosh, we have something more in common, because I mentioned to you that I am doing a template design summit coming up July 1st through the 3rd. And you said, oh my goodness, I am putting together this series, this I think you said 8-week series. So if you want to talk about that, really,
it's an 8-week series, because I am not, I'm not a graphic designer, and that's not where I want to take my business. However, all of my clients and the people in my community, showing up perfectly branded, and whatever perfectly, I hate the word perfect. So I showing up perfectly branded to you, whatever that looks like, having fonts, having graphics, making something look professional, taking a picture of your program or your, whatever you're selling, and putting it in like a computer or whatever, and having it look like a graphic designer did it. Yeah. And my whole thing is that helping entrepreneurs attract their ideal client. And if this is just a piece, if it helps you build confidence, if it helps you do something that used to take 5 hours and you can do it in 5 minutes, then I felt moved to create this. So I do have, it starts June 22nd. It's an 8-week class. I will do a live training for 8 weeks to really help you get your brand foundation set up. And it's all about Canva because I love Canva. You can use it for free. I, of course, use the professional, but I used it for free for many years. And it's a way that you can show up confidently, whether that be your Facebook banner, your Instagram post, your Pinterest post, Reels, whatever it is, you can create a whole website on there, as you know. So it's just taking people through that process, because if not being confident about how you show up is keeping you from doing it, we must get through this hurdle so that you can attract your ideal client and create some raving fans.
Exactly. And I am right there with you. I loved Canva so much. I became a Canva creator. Like, for me, it was kind of like, oh my gosh. And I have been using Adobe products for a long time. You know, I did the Photoshop, InDesign, you know, when I was doing magazines, that was it, right? And then this came along and I was like, why have we been doing things the other way for so long? You know, just so easy. And because there's so much to draw inspiration from, you almost don't even need to go in there with an idea. Obviously, you want to stay true to who you are and put all of your images into it. But I am so excited about your 8-week series. Should people go to your website to find all that information, the jenryansaid.com, or somewhere else?
You should go to my business page, which is Jen Ryan Said on Facebook, and you will find everything right there that you need. In the banner is probably the quickest and the easiest way to find it. Jen Ryan Said Facebook group. It is, you can't miss it. It is right in the banner. And if you're like, well, what does that even mean? Or what does the banner look like? Like, it's creating banners like that. Like, that banner took me 6 minutes to make with a clickable link, like showing people how to create a PDF it's just endless. But I am curious, we're here. Now, you said you're a creator. What does that mean? Does that mean that you have partnered with Canva?
No. So, well, I mean, okay, so here's what they did. It's kind of, they're in a beta program right now. I think there's about 500 of us. And I reached out because I wanted to submit my photography to Canva for consideration in their marketplace so that people could start using my photography. And I saw you can be a Canva creator. And I was like, what exactly does that mean? So you can apply to be a Canva creator, which means that when you are accepted, you submit your portfolio, they review it, and then they say whether or not you've been accepted. If you're accepted, you can then use your Canva profile. They give you a separate profile link where now they've actually, in like the last week or so, added the ability for people to follow you and follow your Canva creator profile. But you submit your designs to Canva for them to promote them inside of the marketplace. And you basically get commission off of all of the exports. So if people are clicking on your template inside of Canva Marketplace, utilizing it, not just using it, but having to export it to either an MP4 or a PNG or whatever, PDF, if they're exporting your design after they've changed it, or even if they haven't changed it, if it's like a Happy Mother's Day and they just export it, you get a certain percentage of money based on how they're exporting it. So every single month, I am having this passive income come in based on the designs that have been promoted to the marketplace, but also from the designs that people have exported from my profile page.
That's so exciting.
So that just happened. I think they started it back in August of 2020. I joined in January of 2021. So, I mean, I have been like, wow, just because I love it so much and I can do what I love and also have other people be able to take inspiration from my designs, but then I'm getting paid for it too. So it's really kind of that like win-win-win situation. But I told you before we came on, I love beta programs. I am part of a lot of different beta programs. But this one specifically, because I'm interested in that kind of design, was like, I need to be part of that. And if anybody else does it, like Creative Market or Adobe Elements or anything like that, I would be like the first to jump on it. What do you see as far as like trends in marketing that you foresee for either the end, quarter 4 of 2021 or quarter one of 2022 of where, where are we supposed to be going with our marketing? Because obviously we're all getting our own websites. We're getting our, social together. Vertical video is kind of the thing. Reels, like you said before we came on, you're helping people, generate reels for people who don't want to have their face on camera. Where do you see it all going?
I think a lot more video, and I think being authentic and really finding your voice, whatever that means. And I think, so it's like, doesn't answer your question, but it might help the listener, is that stop comparing yourself to other people. Yes, video. You have to get, because here's the thing. Video is, Reels. If you're not on Reels, Instagram is going to whatever platform. So let's just for a second talk about Instagram. Instagram is going to reward the people who use what they are promoting.
Right.
And we must understand that. So of course, we don't know what's coming out the second quarter of the year, but right now, video, being authentic, and not being like it used to be very curated, right? Like the influencers and like they woke up like fully makeup, like with a coffee in hand, right? But that's not what people want to see anymore. No. And I think especially because of 2020 and everything that happened, I don't even like to say the word, but because of that horrible pandemic we've been dealing with, I think that people want real and they are craving connection.
Yeah. And
so this whole thing of putting yourself on a pedestal and looking down on people and saying, I can't relate, but I want you to, that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
People want connection. They want to feel connected because we've been so disconnected. And I think that people really need to understand that.
Yeah, I think it's odd because we're all about to go back to being in person in some sort of capacity. So I wonder how we translate or transform what we've been doing into that, social selling in person because, it's not, hey, I'll send you my link. You're right there. Like now you have to speak, right? Yeah. Now you have to talk to your ideal customer in person.
And I think being, years and years ago, somebody in the salon industry, a huge name, once said, and I'll never forget, be more interested than interesting.
That's good advice.
I will never forget that. And I think that whether that be online or in person, when you are truly interested, because it really, marketing and sales, no matter what the trend is, it's all about creating that emotional connection.
Right.
And so I think that understanding your intention on your personal brand and your marketing efforts, really hone in on what is your intention. And I think that if you miss the intention of creating true connection with people, you're missing the mark.
Yeah, you're missing it.
you are missing it. It's not about just being on stage and being in front of 1,000 people or 10,000 or whatever. It's about connection.
Yeah.
And I think that is truly the trend, and how you go about to do that. There's many ways to do it. And that's why like Instagram stories, like if you're going to use Instagram, that's why stories are important, because it gives people a behind the scene, because people want to feel connected to you.
Right.
So
they want to know all about you. They may never talk to you, but they want to know.
But the cool thing is with social media as it is right now, they get the opportunity to drop a DM, right? Like your favorite TV star, whoever that is. Like, let's say that you watch, I don't know, Schitt's Creek, right? I'm just making this up because kind of a lot of people know Schitt's Creek,
right?
And if David Rose gets on and he's doing an Instagram live and you get to ask him questions live, and he may or may not answer you, he may or may not see it, right? But you feel connected. But just having him on your phone, knowing he's live, it's about being connected. Yeah. And I think that's the trend, is making sure that you're using the platform whatever way you can, but to create genuine connection.
Yes. And that is a good place for us to end today, is connecting with Jen Ryan and taking her course, this 8-week course on Canva, and how to really build that foundation for either a non-designer, or even if you need that refresh, if you've already got your own designs, you might need to just have those wonderful tips and tricks that she's going to share with you on how to get your brand to the next place. I am going to sign off for today, but I really appreciate you joining me, Jen.
Thank you. And I am so easy to find on any platform. Jen Ryan said, and it's just easy.
I need to know, where did that come from?
Because because all of my clients would say, well, Jen Ryan said, because people don't call me Jen, they just call me Jen Ryan. Like even when I worked for corporate, it's my friends years ago, because Jen is a very popular name. So Jen Ryan, it always, it's kind of like a Mary Lou. So anyway, people would say, but Jen Ryan said, but Jen Ryan said. And when I was branding myself, it felt a little narcissistic. I'm like, I can't. And I was like, yeah, you can do it. So it's Jen Ryan said, and you won't forget.
There you go. And that is the true identity here. If you wanted to have a brand, that's it in a bubble. Like for marketers, I feel like a lot of marketers don't brand themselves. They're so busy worried about their clients, but you have just done your masterclass on how to do it for yourself. Because I feel like it's the same for social media marketers. They're like, I'm so busy managing other people's social media profiles, I don't have a chance to do my own. I'm like, that's not how it works. You need to do your own.
Jen said, put yourself first. See?
Exactly. Well, have a good rest of your day. For all the people watching, make sure to check out jenryansaid.com. Go to her Facebook page. Just Google or search in the Facebook search bar Jen Ryan Said, and you'll find her Facebook page, which is where you'll find her class and her series about Canva and all things Jen Ryan Said. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.